Bismillah walhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah amma ba'd. When Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha asked the Prophet alayhi salatu wa salam, what was the most difficult time in your life? What was the most difficult moment in all the da'wah that you gave? She thought it was Uhud, but it was Ta'if. When the Prophet alayhi salatu wa salam went to the neighboring city of Mecca, and what happened. We're familiar with the story. But she thought it was Uhud. Why? Because that was a massive blow to the companions, to the Prophet ﷺ, 70 companions killed. And that means, 70 times 4, 240, 300 individuals are now without a husband or a father. That's a disaster for a small community. And all because of what? Because a group of people, 38 people, didn't listen to what the Prophet ﷺ told them to do. That is grounds for criticism. That is grounds for accountability. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches the Prophet how to navigate that, how to criticize. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells the Prophet, right, وَلَوْ كُنْتَ فَضًّا غَلِيظَ الْقَلْبِ لَانْفَضُّوا مِنْ حَوْلِكَ. If you were harsh, if you're constantly criticizing, constantly expressing your disappointment, did the Prophet have a right to be disappointed with what those 38 archers did? Oh yeah. Did he have the right to criticize them and hold them accountable? Yes. Their actions led to the death of 70 people and the defeat of a major battle. So many children are without a father. So many women are without a husband as a result of their hastiness. But Allah comes and says, remember, Ya Rasulullah, if you were harsh, they wouldn't be following you. So what should you do? فَاعْفُ عَنْهُمْ وَشَاوِرْهُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ. Pardon them and do istighfar for them and ask and continue to get their opinions. How beautiful. Imagine how safe you will feel with an individual who if I make a mistake, if my quality or my work is subpar, they will lightly correct your behavior, politely correct your behavior, but you will continue to retain your status with that person. They will continue to respect you. They will pardon what you have done. They won't hold a grudge against you. Isn't that a person you want to be around? Yes, that's the kind of person I want to be around. That's the kind of parent I want. That's the kind of brother I want. That's the kind of spouse I want. That is a healthy family. And so do we need to criticize? Yeah. Criticism is part of human functioning. But we need to criticize effectively. Criticize in a way that doesn't break relationships, but rather maintains or maybe even improves relationships. Well, how can we do that? Well, we need to understand a few tips. One, what we need to do is to lighten the environment before criticizing. When you're criticizing, you're upset, you're angry, there's tension there. And that tension creates stress. And when you're stressed out, you don't think with the maximum capacity of your brain. And you become defensive. You need to protect yourself. You feel like, okay, well, I'm in a situation where my well-being is threatened. I could be punished. I could be grounded. I could be held accountable for what I did. You become in defense mode. I got to protect myself. And that doesn't lead to the best results. Rather, if you lighten the load, you sit down with the individual who you're about to criticize, and you throw a few jokes. You ask them about their day, and you kind of build a light conversation, have that small talk, and then you enter into the criticism. Hey son, how was your day? I saw something really funny on social media. Show them the video. You have a light laugh, and hey, my son, I was on your computer and I found that you entered certain sites that are inappropriate. We need to talk about that. See, now the environment is lighter. Instead of entering with a frown on your face, son, we need to talk right now. And you're sitting down, and the tension can be cut with like the knife can cut a cheese. Right? That's the saying is way off. Okay, well, kind of lost my chain of thought there. Instead of entering into the conversation with a frown on your face, you're clearly upset. your facial gestures are communicating to the person that you are upset. There's a lot of tension. The other person is scared. They don't know what's going on. They don't know what the conversation is around. And it's not a healthy environment to criticize in. Rather, you're smiling, you put those jokes, you lighten the mood, and then you say, hey son, with a smile on your face, I saw this on your computer and we need to talk about this. Let's work around this. This is a problem. Same thing with your spouse, same thing with a family member, a brother or sister. Lighten the mood, soften the mood before going into the criticism so that the criticism is more effective. Another thing you can do is to start by highlighting things you appreciate about that person. Once Ibn Umar radiallahu ta'ala saw a dream and he was too embarrassed to tell the Prophet directly. So he asked his sister Hafsa, the wife of the Prophet ﷺ, say that someone told you that they saw X, Y, and Z dream, or that Ibn Umar, my brother, saw this dream. So Hafsa goes to the Prophet and says, someone told me about this dream. And the Prophet, he's a prophet, he knows who the dream is for and he knows what it means. And the dream was basically Ibn Umar saw himself at like the edge of hellfire. And Ibn Umar felt that maybe there's some criticism about in this dream, something that's criticizing him, saying that you're doing something wrong. So the Prophet says, "Ni'mal al-rajul Abdullah, law kana yaqumu layl." What a good person Abdullah is. He's such a good man. What a righteous man he is. If only he prayed at night. See, the criticism was, Ibn Umar, you're not doing enough. You can do more, and perhaps you're not doing all that you can do. But instead of starting and saying, Ibn Umar, you're not doing enough. You need to pray at night. What's going on? You're lazy. The Prophet ﷺ started by highlighting something good about Ibn Umar. What a good man Ibn Umar is. You want to criticize a family member? Remind them of the things that you appreciate about them. I really like this about you. But if only you were to work on this characteristic here, inshallah, you'll be even better. And another thing that we can do is to remember, this is so important. You don't need to fix everything. You don't need to criticize everything. I promise you, life will continue without pointing out every mistake a person does. You can't live in such an environment. Once I had a tilawa teacher who, we students, we couldn't continue one word. We couldn't pronounce one word. We couldn't recite one word in the Quran without him stopping us and saying, you said this wrong. You said that wrong. That's incorrect. And we're sitting there like, man, who's this teacher? We can't learn. I don't even want to be in your presence. And that was communicated to him. Like, how are we supposed to learn if every second you stop us to correct us? There's no learning. Rather, focus on one thing. Correct that. And then once you see that we have gotten a hang of the correct way of doing it, go to the next thing. And be patient with that. You don't have to correct everything. Rather, what you should do is understand what are the important things in life. What are the important things in Islam? Start with those. Once those are good, once those are solid, then go to other things that are of less importance. You don't need to fix everything, nor do you want someone at your throat fixing every single little thing that you do. We can't bear that. So part of a strong family is criticism. Criticism is meant to make us stronger, but it needs to be done effectively in the prophetic way, and our Prophet is the best role model. So share with us, how do you criticize your loved ones? What do you find as effective and what do you find has been ineffective? Let's learn from one another. Let's share the content. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum everybody. Thank you for watching. If you're finding benefit in these videos, remember that every day throughout the month of Ramadan, we'll be releasing a new video. Our goal is to build a stronger family, especially in our times today when the family unit is really dissolving. It's so important for us as Muslims and to serve as a role model for all of humanity. Share these videos, like, drop a comment, and we'll see you at the next video. Bismillah.